So, where to begin? We get back to the most important thing always, which is who is your target market? I wish I had just a penny for every company I talked to who said, oh, our market is everyone. Everyone's going to want this. I don't think so, right? Not everybody wants the same kind of car, the same kind of shoe, the same kind of education, whatever it is. So you have to be very specific. So whoever was doing Harley-Davidson's site, they really thought about this. They didn't take all of the users and try to appeal to everybody. Let the website do that. They took a couple, and maybe they did it one at a time. That's even better because you can focus. And really do it well, and you will find that in focusing, you will have better content and more relevancy and more traction.
Is this on Ning?
Well, this is, let me think where this is. I think this is on their website. All right, Ning is a perfectly great place to go to set up a site, and they have everything set up for you, and you know they have all the analytics and all this stuff. The only drawback of it, aside from the price, is that the Google credit will go to them, not you. So you want to find out where your audiences live online to determine again where you're going to go. You want to listen to what's going on. You want to try to figure out who are the key movers and the shakers in that. How are you going to engage with these key movers and shakers? Maybe you give them, let's say I'm a foodie, maybe you give them and 5 other select people who are the top whatever, an opportunity to taste this new kind of olive oil, or whatever it is you want to do. And you know, food has been overrun with people doing it. But if you have a really interesting area, like some kind of education for children or ethics, you know, this is not an area that's been done a lot with. It's really ripe for the picking. So, but you want to think about how you're going to do it, who's going to be there, how you're going to engage them. This next steps apply to all of the social media tools that you look at, including the branded community. I just want to, again, explain to you that there's a whole process that's involved in setting up a successful community. Before you get to that launch, you've done a lot of work to figure out who and what and the incentive structure, how you're going to structure it, what are you going to do next. And then, you know, there's a discovery period for them, then you've got to sustain it, and then it gets even harder because after a while people get tired. So you're always trying to figure out what to do to keep them engaged. And maybe what you do is break off into sub-communities. Maybe Harley-Davidson started with one and then they broke off into other communities. And there's a life cycle. And if you have a successful community and you're incentivizing people, Adobe has successful communities, what you'll find out is that it'll have a life of its own. And you'll just want to nurture it along. And there'll be rituals, and maybe there'll be a way to give credit, like in the case of the Terminator at Dell, for people that are the real superstars at helping at whatever it is. So you have to be thinking about that. And there's roles that people take. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Most people will be the visitor. And if you're lucky and you have a good enough site, you may find a couple people to take on the leadership role, to help provide the content because they like the exposure. So remember the 1% rule. Now, the 1% rule is the equivalent of the 80-20, 20-80 rule. It's sort of, what it basically says is 1% of the people that are involved in your community will contribute to it if you're good. If you're not good, you won't even get that much. The rest will lurk, and that doesn't mean that they're not interested. They just don't want to be any more involved. And you know, it's really interesting to me. Procter & Gamble invented mass marketing. I mean, all the terminology, all focus groups, the 30-second spot, all that stuff comes out of Procter & Gamble. Do you know that Procter & Gamble has taken the lead on social media? And they have all these different communities where they get people involved, whether it's Tide or Cheetos or whatever it is, and they get them involved, they give them certain benefits, they give them discounts, they give them coupons, and they're always asking their opinion. Should we make a smaller box? What do you think about 100 calories per? 100 calories per box came out of Procter & Gamble's communities. The community said, we'd really like to eat something, but only so much. So it can be incredibly powerful. Now, the best communities, we've heard it before, this is a mom's community for Walmart, right? They took a subset that's a really rich subset for them. Now, what are we going to do to make this really exciting? And they call it for real moms and real bloggers. And of course, the people that are being selected, look, they get to meet the moms. You get to highlight the mom of the month, the employee of the month, the whatever of the month. And people like that. And there is a community. So they spent a lot of time at doing it. And then, as we've talked about before, there's contests, there's games, there's guidelines. And companies will have to give up a little control in order for these to actually work. So this is IdeaStorm. This is, Dell at one point was the company that everybody in the computer industry liked to hate. They had nothing but problems. They weren't providing customer service. And when they did a change of heart, they really did it big time. And they created a community where Dell users come in and share ideas, right? And they get credit for it, and they love it. It gets huge following, and it has traction all the way up to the president of the company, and that's what enables the people that are doing the community to get what they need to incentivize and keep this current. So these are some of the biggest obstacles. I underlined a few of them because they're just getting people to engage. If you've ever put up a community, getting them to engage can be very difficult. And then finding time to do it. It's very, very time intensive. So this is Dell Hell. This is why they had a change of heart. This is when their computers got on fire and everybody hated them. And Dell Hell used to be the #2 search term for Dell. After you went to Dell on the internet, you then went to Dell Hell. So what do you think that did for sales, right? That isn't the case today. So things to remember are pretty straightforward. Be humble. It's all about them, the moms, not Walmart's. Equip them instead of selling to them. Give them the tools that they need to build, a nutritious menu, or to celebrate them because they're involved. And the best communities are never outsourced. You do them as part of your community.